Alright, what is up, you guys? I'm here with my top 5 favorite Survivor Series pay-per-views. And, Survivor Series is probably my favorite pay-per-view of the year. That and the Royal Rumble are my two favorites. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Survivor Series. The early 2000s, I have 3 in a row here from the early 2000s. So it just shows how good Survivor Series was, and it's still a decent pay-per-view. I think the past 2 years was good. So, number 5, I chose Survivor Series 2016. This was kind of a surprise hit for me, because I was not really looking forward to this one going in. Honestly, I don't really look forward to too many of the pay-per-views nowadays going in, but, this one really surprised me. You had a great 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. And that's part of the reason why Survivor Series is my favorite pay-per-view, is because my favorite match, my favorite match type out of all of them is the Survivor Series traditional matches. So I love those types of matches. So yeah, 2016, I really enjoyed the Goldberg-Brock Lesnar deal. Obviously the first match was nowhere near good. Terrible match. So when you had this one, I like when they surprise us. Because nowadays, it's not very often you get surprised by the WWE. And even had a good tag team elimination match as well. So, 2016 was great. I even like 2017 a lot too. And that would have probably made this list if the main event didn't suck ass. Next up, we have 2002. From Madison Square Garden, just an epic event. Even the cover is epic. Of course, you had the first ever Elimination Chamber match. You had a great Cruiserweight match between Jamie Noble and Billy Kidman. The 6-man table match was great. And the Triple Threat Elimination Tag Team Championship match, phenomenal. Edge and Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, Benoit, and then Los Guerreros. That's just, right there's 6 phenomenal athletes. And, great rivalry they had going there in 2002. And 2002 is one of my favorite years for WWE, and this really I guess it exemplifies why 2002 was such a great year. And a lot of people consider this to be the greatest Survivor Series of all time. And, it's kind of hard to argue that. Okay, next up we have 2007. This one may be a weird choice for a lot of people, but this one I have very fond memories with. I remember watching it, the Hell in a Cell match with Taker and Batista. You had a very entertaining traditional Survivor Series match. Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton, they had a great rivalry, very underrated matches they had, because they had one at Cyber Sunday too. And I enjoyed that rivalry. And, like I said, they had a good Hell in a Cell match as your main event. And overall, I thought this was a solid show. Next up, number 2 and number 1 were very hard to decide. But I think I got it. After rewatching both of these, I actually changed it. So, 2003 is my number 2. I know a lot of people don't like this pay-per-view, but I love it. You have the Buried Alive match with Undertaker and Mr. McMahon. That, for me, is a guilty pleasure. You had a fantastic Survivor Series match with Team Stone Cold and Team Bischoff. Probably my second favorite Survivor Series match. You had Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton just battling it out. Great storytelling in that match. You had Team Angle and Team Lesnar. Great rivalry there. And overall, I just really love this pay-per-view. You have awesome presentation. This was in... there's no location. Usually they list the location. Oh well. So yeah, that's my number 2. My number 1 favorite Survivor Series of all time, 2001. This is, in my opinion, one of the best pay-per-views of all time. And 2001 is a period that I just pick something from 2001. WWF related, and I can watch it. I just, you had WrestleMania 17. You had just, the Royal Rumble 2001. And Survivor Series was no exception. This was a phenomenal event. My favorite Survivor Series match of all time is Team WWF versus Team Alliance. Just the stars in that match. You had The Rock, Chris Jericho, Undertaker, Kane, and Big Show versus Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, RVD, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. That is a star-studded main event right there. And you had Edge versus Test. You had the Battle Royal for the immunity. And, say what you want about the Alliance storyline. I like it more than a lot of people do. Even with, Invasion. I enjoyed Invasion. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. So, Survivor Series 2001 is my all-time favorite Survivor Series. And one of my top 10 favorite pay-per-views, period. So, just awesome event. So, let me know what your list would be. And, compare lists down below. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.